I'll just open up the questions. I don't really have a large opening statement.
Tom, let me just ask you real quick.
Yeah.
How are you and the Chargers handling the what is your process with that? What do you think that could mean for the NFL for you and down the road?
Yeah, we're scouting it probably very similar to the way we used to scout NFL Europe. So we have our pro scouts. We'll watch game tapes of that. They'll go see some games, and there's some potential players in that league. Down the road, maybe a couple years, maybe it could be a developmental league. I don't know yet, but it's a great spot for young players just to get live game reps. I think that's really important. I just think as for the league itself, and I've said this before, I think for coaching and front office people and then equipment and athletic training and officials, it's just a great training ground for that too. But as far as us, yeah, we'll scout it and see if we can find some players there. Right. We'll talk with his representatives here at the Combine, but I don't have a timetable quite yet, and really nothing has changed since I talked after the last game. Yeah, there's still a chance. I have not studied Nick as much at this point as well as I know Joey, so I'm a little hesitant to make a lot of comparisons. But just from watching him play on TV and a couple tapes, I mean, you can see that the style of play and the hand use and the technique is all very, very similar. They're similar players. I think NFL players have probably been playing off-season basketball since before Vince Lombardi, so I know what happens. Yeah, I'm probably not thrilled about it. You just want guys to be educated in what the risks are, and hopefully they stay safe. But guys have been playing basketball in the off-season for years and years and years. No. You mean guys that in college that played like a down defensive end have to stand up and play linebacker? Well, that's actually one of the things that you can do at the Combine and a pro day is a player who in college maybe was a traditional hand on the ground, three-point stance, defensive end. This is where we get a chance at the Combine at their pro day to put them through some drills to see how comfortable they are moving backwards, moving in space. Now, we like to say a lot, if a kid is a really good pass rusher, we'd probably rather him coming forward anyways. Whether it's a two-point stance or three-point stance, it really doesn't matter. But we do use the Combine and pro days to put those players through some drills to see how they move and try and get a projection moving forward if they could play linebacker. Now, for us, we're in a four-man front, so we really don't have that issue anymore. When we were a 3-4 team, we used to have to do that a lot more.
Tom, it seems like Mike Williams really started to break out down the stretch this year. Just your assessment of the season that he had and maybe what he has to offer this season as well.
I mean, for me, it was more than just down the stretch. We thought he had a really, really good year, and it's really from the first day of training camp. You could see the talent that was there and did a tremendous job this year. His route running, his speed, his quickness, his awareness, his toughness to go across the middle and finish tough catches on third down. He made a lot of those for us this year. He had a great year for us, but we're also in an offense that we have a lot of other guys that get the football. So, he didn't have 80, 90, 100 catches, but he has that type of ability. But with the other guys we have, the opportunities he had, he really took advantage of it. It was great to see.
You've seen this Combine process up close when you were here and now in this
Right.
role. How have you seen it grow?
It's amazing, isn't it? I just think that the popularity of the sport, and I think this is really the first chance, football is America's sport. This is the first blending of college football and pro football, and it happens here, and it's just the interest has just grown so much from having fans in the stands to watch this, and then obviously the ratings on TV, and then the media coverage. I mean, my first Combine was either 95 or 96. And, it's changed a lot. Just the interest in it has changed. And then just from a functional side, we've added a lot of things to the Combine that we didn't have before. We've added a lot of things off the field. Obviously, media has added a lot to it, but there's some different testing that we've added over the years that's changed. And we do a lot with these kids. We ask a lot of them. It's a 4-day, it's a bit of a grueling interview process for the kids, mentally and physically.
Because of that interest, there's always talk about maybe moving to LA. Would you be in favor
get the chance to come home for a little bit. I like it here. I got a lot of friends and that, living here for 15 years, I like coming back here. I know one thing, Indianapolis does a great job. All the events they've had here, I mean, all the sporting events, they handle it really well. I know for us, the proximity of everything that's here, the stadium, the hotels, all the medical process, which is on the backside of it, that's really important. Everything runs really well here. Will they move us someday? I don't really know, but I know the fact that it's here, it runs really well. We love it here.
What's the most important thing you can glean from those football?
I tell you, it's tough. 15 minutes is hard, but at least it opens the door enough for us to get a little bit of feel for their personality, a little bit of feel for their football intelligence. But really, it's for some of the players, we'll start doing more from here. You just can't do it all in 15 minutes. A lot of the players we've already spent time with already. Our scouts have met with some of these players already at different All-Star games, sometimes on their campus. So we get a little bit of insight into them, but we can't do it all in 15 minutes. No, I thought he had a great year. I mean, he was highly productive for us this year, 3 down back. Puts a lot of balls in the end zone for us, a lot of touchdowns for us. He's been a great player. We've got him and a number of other guys that we'll look at extending at some point. I don't have a timetable on those guys, but we've gotten the point, if we're going to say our philosophy is draft, develop, and resign, we've gotten the point with some of those guys we'd like to have back long term, but I don't have a timetable on anything like that. And, running back is a punishing position. But no, not too many concerns with that. Sure. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we've talked to him, talked to Jason. Yeah, we'll kind of see where it goes. I mean, where he was drafted has nothing to do with it, but the fact of us knowing him, knowing the type of player he is, knowing the type of person he is, yeah, I think certainly it would. Yeah. First of all, we don't have a scorecard on draft picks. Our scorecard is wins and losses. That's number one. But aside from that, our scouting staff, our college guys, and our pro guys too, they're diligent, they're detailed, they're organized. They do a great job of getting the information, having strong opinions, and that all counts. It's for everybody, every GM up here. It's not like we sit up there, watch all the tape ourselves, and decide ourselves on taking these players. That's not how it works. You have to have a really strong staff, a staff that can give good opinions with conviction and have reasons to back it up. And we'd have a lot of these meetings and discuss these things, and you have to have a strong staff. So we have a good staff, and we're not going to hit on every draft pick. You really need, I mean, you try and hit on every pick, obviously, but you really want to hit on the one. We put a lot of effort into that, but it's not 100%. But I would credit the staff for that, and the fact that they work very well with our coaches. Our coaches get more into the scouting end of it when their season ends, and then it's not only drafting the players, but it's putting them in the scheme, putting them in the right places, using their strengths the right way, and developing them. And our coaches have done that. You've seen it with Mike Williams. Obviously, he's very talented, but you saw some big strides from him from year 1 to year 2. Smart. The scouting process for quarterbacks is just different than everybody else because so much of it has to be from the neck up. So you have to spend a lot of time with them, and then we try and get our coaches, our quarterback coach, our coordinator, and head coach, try and get as much time with those guys as we can, get our scouts with them as much as we can, because the intangibles are a big part of playing the position, and it's not the easiest thing to scout. We can scout athletic ability and feet and quickness and release and arm strength and accuracy. We can see that, but it's everything from the neck up that's a little more difficult, so you have to put a lot of work into it. But your quarterback's got to be smart. It's maybe a bad answer, but there's really no impact. I mean, we scout a lot of players through the course of the year. We'll do some preliminary work on juniors, but if they don't declare, they don't declare. I mean, we kind of move on. It's not like we throw our books down and get all upset if a guy doesn't declare for the draft. But we've done some preliminary work on some juniors that didn't declare, and we'll be in good position with those guys next year. Not so much Daniel Jeremiah, but to give you a quarterback analysis of the group. But I mean, I think it's a deep group. It may not be top heavy this year, but I think it's a deep group. I mean, I've seen some guys that we like, but I really can't compare it to other years. Maybe ask DJ those questions. I'm sorry, what was that again? He's doing well. I mean, he played in the last game, which is good to see, and yeah, he's on track for first day of OTAs. I mean, I don't think the philosophies have changed at all. I mean, if the guy has the traits to play the position, where they came out of a committee system or where they had a lot of carries, I don't think it's going to have a whole lot of weight. Obviously, if there's a running back who played 4 years and had 300 carries a year, you may do a little bit more work to make sure that guy's going to be durable enough to handle it for 4 or 5 years at this level. But no, it's just different styles, different ways to look at it. It hasn't really changed much over the years. Well, we know he can play, which is good. I mean, we didn't see a whole lot of him, but we saw him in training camp. We saw him at the beginning of the year. He won our weak side outside linebacker spot, and he played well until they got hurt. So he's on track right now. I don't know exactly as far as where he'll be in the offseason program when we start in mid-April, but we're hopeful to see him at some point in that process, and he gets back in the mix again. But he has a lot of the traits we're looking for in that position. He was a college safety that we projected to linebacker in our scheme, but he's not but he has linebacker size. I mean, if you look at him, you don't see a safety, you see a linebacker, but he has the range and the speed and the cover ability that we like in that position. So the fact that he has a safety background was a big asset for us, and the fact that he's naturally a physical hitter. So he had all the traits for a linebacker. It was a little bit of an adjustment for him. I was pleasantly surprised that he was able to handle that as quickly as he did, and the fact that he played early for us as a rookie playing a new position, which is you don't see very often. So I give him a lot of credit for that. You know, hopefully he just keeps coming along from the knee injury and be ready to go, sometime during OTAs.
We have time for one more question. One more here.
And Mike Lather coming in for that? Oh, yeah. No, this is, from our standpoint of the work we have to get done, there's 32 teams. The hardest things for us to do with all those players would be a medical, physical, and the interview process, because it's hard to fly a prospect to 32 different cities, which is really why the combine started in the first place, to bring all the players in one central location. We all bring our doctors here to get that medical evaluation done. It'd be very difficult to do if they weren't here. So the fact that they're here for a physical and for some limited interviews, it does help us.
Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Next up, as soon as he's ready.
Well, no opening statement. I'm assuming this is the time when you ask me the questions that Tom would answer. So, I like Kyle Jacobs for any position you want a linebacker. He's a very young, talented young man. He's on track to recover, and he looked good last time I saw him. So excited about getting him back next year. Absolutely, when you have a Hall of Fame player like Antonio Gates, we could definitely use him. I like what he means to our locker room. But I haven't seen a lot of Nick Bosa, but I know he's a heck of a football player. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We have a lot of them on our team. We have the other kid too, Watt. I mean, we have some people on our team that come from brothers and have siblings that play in this league, and they know what this is all about, and they grew up with this game. So I'm sure Nick's going to come in this game and be an outstanding player, just like his brother Joey.
Anthony, how important is it to continue to add competition and talent to the quarterback room? Philip had a good year
Yeah.
last year, but obviously getting up there in years. Is it still important to continue to address that position?
Absolutely. We're always looking for competition, at every single position where we can upgrade. I think competition, that's something that you can't coach. You can definitely create it, but you can't coach it. And I think it just brings the best out of people.
And then do you want to pursue different avenues, whether it's draft, trade, free agency to add there?
We're looking at free agents right now, the coaching staff. First thing we did was evaluate our team. Then we look at our wants and some of our needs, and now we're looking at other people's teams, players. And, now we're here at the Combine getting exposure for the first time with these college kids. So as a coaching staff, we're a little behind. The scouts have been on it the whole time, but we're catching up. And like I said, we're doing free agents right now, and now we're just going to take a look at these guys this weekend.
And what skill sets are important in terms of quarterbacks that you're bringing in and developing?
Well, you need a guy that can throw from the pocket. If you can complete 3rd and 10s, you have a chance to be very successful in this league. But at the same time, when the defenses are as fast as they are today, you have defensive ends coming into this league running 4.4s now. It would help if a guy can move a little bit. Not every guy can win from the pocket. And when you look at the college pool, a lot of these guys are pretty good athletes. And so you're going to have to take one of those guys and teach them how to play the pro game. But, you have guys like Phillip, Tom Brady, there's a handful of guys that can win from the pocket that are not mobile.
Anthony, what was the process like of growing comfortable with a young kicker like Michael Badgley to the point where it culminates in his great playoff game?
The process of getting comfortable with a young kicker, I didn't have any choice. Hell, we went through about 8, but, Michael, I have a very good comfort level with Michael. Michael's a very confident young man. He doesn't carry himself like a rookie. And, I'm looking forward to working with him for a lot of years.
Can you maybe reflect a little bigger picture on that process? I know it was a long path to Michael. What did you learn from that experience of kind of cycling through the kickers before the positions finally?
Well, the kicking situation wasn't on my radar when I got here. That's just something that, I thought we had a stable kicking situation. Then I found out we didn't. And so, it was a long process before we got to Michael. We just, Michael was on the streets. We brought him in, and he did an outstanding job. I just can't say enough good things about him.
When you look at your run game last year, you guys had one of the best running games in the league despite allowing a lot of tackles and losses in the backfield. Is that an area that you guys are really looking to improve upon this offseason with run blocking, or are you just going to take the lumps and still have productive rushing games?
No, we wanted to improve the running game, definitely, and I thought we did. I think Melvin Gordon averaged 5.0 a carry. Austin Ekeler was 5.1. I thought that run efficiency was right there where I wanted it to be. It wasn't there at the end of the season, though. Last quarter of the season, I thought it could have been a little better. But I think Mike Pouncey had a lot to say about that. I think Virgil Green had a lot to say about that. But then Russell Kuhn and Michael Schofield stepped up. And then Sam Tevy stepped in and did a good job as a first-year starter. So I'm looking forward to growing with this offensive line. We have some young players. We're going to get Forrest Lamp back in the mix. So it should be a good group for us. No, we brought Forrest Lamp here to be a long-time starter, and but we'll see. Michael stepped up and played well last year when Forrest was hurt. It just so happened when Forrest came back and he was healthy, the offensive line had a good chemistry. They was rolling. It was hard to plug him in.
Anthony, how concerned are you about Gordon's usage? He's had those
Who?
Melvin Gordon's
Yeah.
usage over the year. He's had some nagging injuries at the end of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
How concerned are you kind of managing that?
Melvin does an outstanding job taking care of his body. He will manage those injuries well. That's why I like to use tandem backs. Austin Ekeler stepped in, did a good job. Justin Jackson stepped in, did a good job. Detrez Newsom stepped in, did a good job. I have a good group of guys I have a lot of confidence in that I don't have to put the load completely on Melvin.
Coach, how much of this process for you is scouting to manage the game day roster? Because it's 46, 43 to take away the multi members. So how much of this process for you is, okay, we're going to scout to manage the roster?
No, we just here to, this is the first exposure that we have to these young men. So we're just here to see if they validate some of what we see on tape. You know, we're going to see these guys at their place. We may bring them in for a visit. Before it's all said and done, we'll have 3 or 4 exposures, and this is just the first process. So we take we take everything into account.
You guys really hit with Derwin James last year. You
Yeah.
feel that safety position is underrated, and what does having a chess piece like him, how much does that enhance your game?
DJ is a versatile athlete. We use DJ a lot of ways. You know, he's in the box as a linebacker. He's a strong safety. He's a free safety. He's a rusher. You know, we were very fortunate to get him. You know, he fell into our lap last year. So you just never know. That's why you have to go into this situation evaluating everyone, because on draft day, you just don't know how things are going to work out. You know, DJ he came to us last year.
Anthony, one of the best players in the draft.
No doubt about it.
You feel that position is underrated, the safety position?
You know, I don't think it's underrated. You know, if you have the right guy there, he can be an impact player. Well, Herb Morton, he's a team psychologist and author. They do a good job, you know, in our player engagement programs, exposing guys to different techniques and just helping our guys, you know, any way they can with mental health. Our doctors, they do an outstanding job with that as well. So the NFL, you know, that's an emphasis of the National Football League, is helping guys with mental health issues. We didn't have a lot of it on our team, but I can tell you the ones that there were some issues, I think they got help. Oh, so much better. You know, I just think we've poured the resources into that, and you can see it.
And you guys did a good job defensively finding players that can play multiple roles, especially in your secondary. When you come to an event like this, do you kind of scout players, say, okay, he's a really good corner, or you're looking at guys that he's a really good DB with the possibility of being a pass rusher? I mean, how is that evaluation maybe evolved?
Well, you like guys that can do multiple things because you can be more game plan specific. You know, you can do this one week and you can do something else another week. So that definitely helps. You have a guy like Desmond King. You know, he's a good cover guy. He's a good blitzer. He's a good tackler. You just can't get any more versatile than that as a defensive back. So we look for guys that can do multiple things.
Anthony, what do you feel like your areas of need are going into the draft this year? What are some things you guys are focusing on?
I hate to go into a draft with thinking that I need this, need that, because I want to take the best player. You know, my first year here, we said we needed defense, and our first 3 draft picks were offense because they were the best players. And so you give us the best players, and as a coaching staff, it's our job to make them fit.
And then there was a video out there of Derwin James playing basketball. Have you seen that?
That was a hell of a dunk, wasn't it? Whew. But, you know, I just saw that yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, but we'll save some of those for during the season.
How do you feel about you guys doing stuff like that in the offseason basketball?
You know, I encourage my guys to cross-train, but there's just some things I'd rather you not do, like ski, ride motorcycles, dunk off the backboard. But, you know, he's a young, athletic young man, so he'll learn.
What's your evaluation of the inside linebacker class in this draft? Is that situation top heavy? Do you want to get a guy who's first or second?
I know there's some good linebackers inside and outside in this draft, but I have not seen them all yet, to be honest with you. Like I said, we're just coming off of free agency, so this is our first exposure. And by the time this process is over, you know, we'll know this draft really well.
Coach, obviously, big jump from year 1 to year 2 for you guys. What are your points of emphasis to make the next step for the team going to next season?
You know, there's so many things that we can continue to improve on and get better at. And I think our team know that, our coaching staff know that, they know that. We have projects we're working on now for the guys when they get back in April on the 15th. And, you know, we just have to get better execution-wise all across the board in all 3 phases if we want to take the next step. And I like the direction that we're heading, but we know that we have more work to do. So. Well, just execution in all 3 phases, including coaching staff. I mean, there's some things that definitely if we was playing tomorrow, we'd probably do a little differently. But I'd rather work on that and talk about it with my staff than talk about it now. Absolutely. I mean, he was a rookie last year. I mean, it's so much room for development with the DJ. No doubt about it. And when he's a second-year guy, he's more outspoken at the end of the season. I think his leadership is either going to take another step this year with our football team, which we need. And yeah, to answer your question, he can get better for sure. He's a dynamic leader. He loves football. He's passionate about what he does. And his teammates, they feel that and they sense that about him. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he wasn't a captain this year. I think NFL is no different than society. We're always fighting for equal opportunity till this day. And so, I just hope that continues. I think we're headed in the right direction. I hope it continues to get better. And I just want guys to get an opportunity that they deserve. That's all. I mean, I would think, me coming from being a position coach and a one-year coordinator, I don't think that 1 year being a coordinator made a big difference to me being a head coach. I would like to see more position coaches get opportunities to be head coaches. Well, they don't have to check the coordinator box. So I think we're missing out on some pretty good head coaches, just not having that as one of our criteria. And then I think you may see more African-American coaches get more opportunities. So, and it's not just African-American coaches, every coach. So. Who was that? Yep. Love the way he finished the season. I thought he finished very strong. So if he can start the way he finished, he's going to be an outstanding player for us on our defense for a long time.
And do you like him at Sam as a potential starter there?
I do like him at Sam, and he was our starter last year. We called Otto, but yeah, he was definitely our starter there, and he would back up Melvin some as a rush in. Excuse me? I couldn't hear your question.
With having Derwin James as versatile as he is, has it made it easier for you to find a second safety to play next to him?
Yeah, well, we have safeties on our team right now that I think are going to be just fine playing beside DJ. But like I say, DJ can play both. He can go in the middle of the field or in the box. But it's nice to have his versatility. Yeah, you like to have an interchangeable guy that can rotate down and stay in the middle. No doubt about it. It's good. Jalen was having a really good season for us last year before he got hurt. And I don't think a lot of people know that about him. But he was a former corner that we moved to safety, and we liked him a lot. It was too bad he got hurt in the preseason game.
There's some positives and negatives about the increasing number of underclassmen declaring to the draft.
I guess we have, more this year than ever before? I don't know. If they can play, if they can help us win, I don't care.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right. What's up, Sam?